In a world where peace is a priceless commodity, recent missile attacks have triggered a crisis between Iran and Pakistan, shaking the very foundations of regional stability. The heart of the matter lies in Iran's sudden airstrikes on Pakistani territory in Balochistan. The aftermath was tragic. 2 innocent children lost their lives, and 3 others were left injured. Pakistan, rightfully outraged, strongly condemned this incident, pulling back its ambassador in Tehran and making it clear that it reserves the right to respond. The situation is further complicated by Iran's insistence that Pakistan act against Jaish al-Adl, a militant group causing unrest in the region. Caught in the crossfire of this escalating conflict, Pakistan is now faced with a daunting task. It must consider its potential military options in response, a decision that could significantly alter the geopolitical landscape. As the world watches with bated breath, the question arises, how did we end up here? To answer that, we need to delve into the history of Iran-Pakistan relations. The roots of the current crisis can be traced back to a complex web of history, politics, and regional dynamics. Iran and Pakistan, 2 significant players in the South Asian region, established diplomatic ties back in the mid-20th century, laying the groundwork for a relationship marked by both cooperation and dispute. In the early years, the nations found common ground, driven by mutual interests and shared challenges. Their collaboration in the Baghdad Pact and later in the Central Treaty Organization highlighted their shared objectives and mutual strategic interests during the Cold War era. However, as the decades rolled on, the relationship began to fray. The Iranian Revolution of 1979 marked a turning point, as Iran's shift towards an Islamic republic caused unease in Pakistan. Meanwhile, the rise of the Taliban in Afghanistan in the 90s further strained relations, with Iran and Pakistan supporting opposing factions. The new millennium brought its own set of challenges: border clashes, disagreements over armed groups, and the influence of external powers began to create significant friction. A prominent example is the conflict in Balochistan, a region straddling both nations, where armed groups have stoked tensions for years. Matters escalated in 2024 when Iran launched missile attacks on Pakistani territory in Balochistan, targeting the armed group Jaish al-Adl. This incident, resulting in civilian casualties, was met with strong condemnation from Pakistan, pushing the nations closer to the brink of armed conflict. Adding to the complexity, Pakistan's recent interest in the BRICS alliance, which includes India, a regional adversary, has been viewed with suspicion by Iran. This development has the potential to add another layer of discord to the already volatile relationship between these 2 nations. The history of Iran-Pakistan relations is a tapestry of cooperation and conflict, but it's the recent missile attacks that have brought the 2 nations to the brink of war. In the shadow of war, the military strength of Iran and Pakistan becomes a focal point of global attention. Iran, with its robust military infrastructure, is known for its ballistic missile capabilities and an armed force that is deeply embedded in the nation's politics. On the other hand, Pakistan, a nuclear-armed nation, has one of the largest standing armies in the world, backed by a potent air force and navy. Both nations have significant strategic capabilities, but the potential challenges of a military confrontation are immense. The terrain, for one, poses a significant obstacle. The rugged mountains and desolate deserts that mark the Iran-Pakistan border are unforgiving battlegrounds. The economic cost is another factor. Both nations are grappling with economic challenges, and a military confrontation could exacerbate these issues, causing undue hardship for their citizens. Moreover, a conflict could destabilize an already volatile region, drawing in other powers and complicating the geopolitical landscape. The impact on global energy markets, given Iran's significant oil reserves, could also be profound. While the balance of power may tilt in favor of one or the other, war is a lose-lose proposition for both nations and the region. As tensions continue to rise, the future of Iran-Pakistan relations hangs in the balance. The road ahead is one of uncertainty, with a multitude of possible scenarios unfolding. One such scenario could see diplomatic efforts playing a vital role in diffusing the crisis. Both nations could choose to communicate, negotiate, and perhaps even compromise to avoid further escalation. On the other hand, Pakistan's retaliation could take a military form. The recent air attacks by Iran have not only incited anger, but also raised questions about the nation's right to defend itself. The choice to respond militarily, however, could lead to a cycle of violence that neither nation truly wants. The international community will undoubtedly play a significant role in shaping the future. Countries like the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey could become crucial allies to Pakistan, potentially offering support and fostering a closer alignment. This alignment could influence the balance of power in the region, adding yet another layer of complexity to the situation. In the face of escalating tensions and potential conflict, the path to peace may be fraught with challenges, but it remains the only viable option for Iran and Pakistan. In response to Iran's missile attacks, Pakistan has launched a counteroffensive, marking a new chapter in the unfolding conflict. The retaliation was swift and decisive, targeting key military installations within Iran's borders. The scale of this counteroffensive is unprecedented, causing significant damage and further inflaming tensions between the two nations. Iran's reaction to the counteroffensive was immediate. Official statements from Tehran condemned the attacks, vowing to defend their sovereignty. The Iranian military has been placed on high alert, ready for any further escalations. On the streets, public sentiment is mixed, with some calling for peace while others demand retribution. The international community's response to this escalation has been swift. The United Nations has called for an emergency meeting, urging both nations to show restraint and engage in diplomatic talks. Countries around the world have echoed this sentiment, expressing concern over the potential for this conflict to spiral out of control. With Pakistan's retaliation, the conflict has escalated, pushing the region further into uncertainty and the world into a state of heightened concern. As the dust settles and the impact of this counteroffensive becomes clearer, one thing remains certain: the road to peace is now more challenging than ever.